Good evening and welcome to Lincoln County Courthouse. This is a joint meeting of the Lincoln County Planning Commission and the Sioux Falls City Planning Commission, and it will begin with a few introductory remarks. This meeting is being streamed live, and when adjourned and posted, it will be available at any time at lincolncountysd.org. The order of events tonight will be as follows. For each public hearing, staff will introduce the agenda item and present a summary of the staff report. The applicant will then be asked to explain the proposal in further detail and to answer any questions from the County Planning Commission and the City Planning Commission. I will then open the floor to public comment, first for persons in support of the application and then for persons in opposition of the application. When you step up to the podium, please state your name and address and speak into the microphone. Please limit comments to less than 5 minutes. Speakers are encouraged to only address new and relevant information pertaining to the item. Above all, please be cordial to all meeting participants and refrain from side conversations and speaking out of turn. Thank you for your cooperation. The County Planning Commission and City Planning Commission will first do roll call. County Planning Commission members, please state your name for the record. Commissioner Green. Yep.
Todd Boots.
Jerry Jungling.
Marlene Sweeter.
Mike Poppins.
Eric Scott. City Chair Kittams, the quorum has been established by the county.
On the city side, our quorum has been established.
Good. County Planning Commission and Sioux Falls Planning Commission will now approve the meeting minutes. Is there a motion from the county side to approve the meeting minutes?
So move, Green.
Second, Jungling.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. City Chair?
On the city side, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam Chair, motion to approve the minutes.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay. We'll next approve the meeting agenda. Mr. Brown, is there any changes to the meeting agenda?
No change, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Can I get a motion from the county side to approve the meeting agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda. Todd Boots. Second, Green.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, City Chair Kittams.
All right, on the city side, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Madam Chair, move to approve the agenda.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay. Our next item is public input on non-agenda items. I will now ask those with any comments for any items that are not on the agenda to please step forward with their comments. Seeing none, we will close the floor to public input on non-agenda items. Mr. Brown, is there any old business to discuss?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the public hearings.
Good evening, Toby Brown with Lincoln County Planning and Zoning. This first item before you is an application for a rezoning. The applicant for this item is Adam Scott. The owner of the property is Ben Kevco Properties LLC. Subject property is approximately 3,000 feet to the south of the intersection of 57th Street and Highway 11. Subject property under the Shape Sioux Falls 2040 Comprehensive Plan is identified as residential, but it's in between what I'll call a sub-regional area, a neighborhood commercial area, and a business park area. Subject property, so the applicant is proposing to purchase 1 acre out of a total 34.6 acre parcel. The 1 acre is not platted, it's to be platted. Subject property, the parent parcel, the 34.6 acres, and the subject 1 acre parcel are zoned A1 agricultural currently. The subject parcel, the 1 acre to be platted, is not improved. There is no structures on the property. The parent 34.6 acre parcel, there is some agricultural structures to the south of the property. There is some existing adjacent zoning to the north of this parcel that is zoned I-1 light industrial. The exhibit that's shown there would show the approximate area of the 1 acre that be rezoned. Staff's analysis of this and discussions with the applicant This area is identified as a planned urbanized area under the 2040 Shape Comprehensive Plan, which means utilities and infrastructure, urban utilities and infrastructure is available to the site. The comprehensive plan, and there's quite a few excerpts that was put in the staff analysis from the comprehensive plan, but the comprehensive plan does guide that this property be annexed into the city and developed in accordance with the city requirements and urban infrastructure that is available. So staff does recommend denial of this application. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have for staff at this time. Okay, staff will be available as well as staff from the city of Sioux Falls available too. So thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Brown. Okay, can I ask the applicant to come up?
Hi, I'm Adam Scott. Address is 26548 463rd, Hartford, South Dakota. First, thank you for your patience with us. Obviously, we started this process a few months ago, and we postponed it as we were working through learning liquor ordinance laws and such, and along with learning a little bit about this process with that. So again, thank you guys for your patience, and also thank you for all you in Sioux Falls that drove down here. The video thing, this I enjoy a lot better, so I appreciate your time. So with that being said, little quick introduction about who we are. One, John and I started Golf Addiction just over 10 years ago. A couple of corporate boys that got sick of corporate life and decided to give it a shot and make a run for starting a new business concept. We heard no a lot during the startup process of that, whether it was working with the city of Sioux Falls, whether it was working through banks, whether it was building the business plan and all the different hurdles that get thrown at us in life. The one thing that stuck true to us is we were very persistent on not just saying, hey, I can take a no and not give me any justification behind it. So with that being said, we put a lot of time and effort into trying to learn about why and what some of the issues and or hesitation on the city end of it would be, and or vice versa on the county side of things. So with that being said, we've been in business over 10 years, and we're at a position right now where we have the opportunity where we could love to start another facility in Sioux Falls or near the Sioux Falls area. We came to this process due to the fact that we reached out to Jamie Palmer with the city of Sioux Falls. There was no licenses available that matched what we had for a liquor or a beer, wine, or malt beverage license with video lottery, as that ordinance changed in Sioux Falls early April. We then looked into doing a liquor license, and there was no liquor licenses available as the other alternative for that. We found that, there's no option for staying in Sioux Falls on that. Let's make a phone call and do some homework and find out what's available. At that point, we reached out and we talked with Kayla here in Lincoln County. She informed us there was 5 licenses available, and that of those licenses, we would be able to apply for one of those. And at that point, gave us a glimmer of hopes on what we could do to move forward with starting another business on the east side of town. So at that point, we hopped on Onyx. We started looking at parcels outside of the city of Sioux Falls, and we found met up with the Frankmans, and they were intrigued with us starting a Golf Addiction over there, along with they had land that they were willing to part away with. We talked to a few different landowners, and this one happened to come to fruition as far as us moving forward. So for us as a business side of things, we looked at all the different avenues. We talked here, found license available, we found a business owner. The next step was come out to Lincoln County and talk to planning and zoning. So with the land being agricultural, we then introduced ourselves to Toby. I explained to Toby kind of where we were at, what we had going on, and why we were seeking for Lincoln County land versus Sioux Falls land. At that point, I also explained to him I was in contact with the auditor's office for getting information on the liquor license. He explained to me that I would have to go through of changing the agricultural land to a commercial land, and then I could apply for a liquor license that was available through Lincoln County and have it attached to the commercial property. At that point, we caused a ruckus in the city of Sioux Falls. I put us on the agenda, thought we had a little bit of a headway around it, and I got pushed back from Fletcher when I reached out to him. Fletcher explained to me that I was simply trying to find a workaround in the system because the liquor license on how it was stated and how it was written in Lincoln County came up as $25,000. right? We all know that City of Sioux Falls right now, liquor licenses are a very hot topic because of the bidding war that just started on Monday and the change from the video lottery license from the previous waiting list that was on there. So at that point, we went down and we talked to Paul Tanakin and gathered some insight from him. He said, you know, there should be a fair way of making this a step-by-step process to get through this process to get something going. From there, we found that with talking with Jamie Palmer again, that there is a law in South Dakota that states that the liquor license purchase price would have to follow the municipality of it. So at that point, the liquor license goes from $25,000 to $240,646. At that point, we understand that. It's not a workaround. It's what's being thrown in front of us for options and availability for us. So from there, we went and sat with Sam and Fletcher and explained and tried to pitch our case to them as far as what that process would look like for that. They explained to us they want all 34 acres annexed into the City of Sioux Falls. I don't own the land. I can't annex or say, hey, let's annex that land into the City of Sioux Falls. I explained to them, all we're trying to do is buy an acre, acre and a half from the Frankmans to give us the opportunity to get a liquor license. And at that point, once that process is done, because that's the process I was told I had to go through, we are fine with annexing into the City of Sioux Falls. There was no qualms, quotes, or issues about that. And what I explained to them is we would be willing to try to get the land from agricultural to commercial, get the liquor license attached to the process, and then apply for a City of Sioux Falls building permit and start the annexation process in so we could tie into city water, city sewer, and not have to worry about doing septic system. Our store in Sioux Falls has been there for a while. We understand what the drainage looks like. We deal with that on our property. We understand what the beauty of having sidewalks and what that brings to a community. We have no issues of building the structure out to where it matches all of the city regulations and city codes. But the problem being is I need to find a way to get it from agricultural to commercial to apply the liquor license and then start the process with the building permit through the City of Sioux Falls. So with that, I'm asking for your guys' help to work with us. So there is the city limits, Frankman's Automotive, and in the blue section is the proposed land that we're looking at getting. The little pink dot is what we sat down with Toby on, which then actually falls into Tier 3 versus Tier 1, and we were told we would get the blessing through the county to be able to go through that process. Again, it's not my land. I had to pitch that to the Frankmans, and they do not want to sell that corner as it's a corner lot versus just butting up against a storage shed facility. So from there, I'm asking for your guys' blessing to move forward with turning this into a commercial lot to allow us to give the opportunity to get the liquor license, and at that point, working with the city on going through and getting this annexed into the city process. From the city process, you're going to get our tax revenue, you're going to gain more employees in the Sioux Falls, and you're going to gain another establishment in the city that our customers and our citizens love in the Sioux Falls community. We haven't been here for 10 years, we were told and or didn't get our customers buying into the fact that we offer a great entertainment value to the city. So as you see, in this tier map system, it falls into a Tier 1 just on the section that, or the area that they're willing to sell us. And the Tier 3 is outside that. Prior to starting this process, the Frankmans were also knowing that the City of Sioux Falls was going to have to come at them as far as purchasing land from this property to put and create the Veterans Parkway with the new highway system, along with new city roads that will go directly through this 34-acre parcel. We sat with Sam and Fletcher and also had discussion with Toby on the areas in yellow that is being explained as urban residential area. I beg to differ, and I asked for justification on the business park, and I was told there was no distance. It's just a blurb on a map because that's what was put in front of us, and that doesn't necessarily set precedence on the business area. We have two, which would be us being the third, businesses in that area with storage shed facilities and Frankman's across the street. We're looking to get your guys' blessing on getting this going because eventually this is in the future plan of being turned into probably a business district. It's right on Veterans, and I don't, again, have any control of what the Frankmans do with this land other than the little bit that they're willing to part ways with on us to get this thing going. As you see, this is the proposed build-out that the Frankmans had done when they were approached about the Veterans Parkway. So the Frankmans took the initiative to try to draw this up because they were told by the state that this was going to be a business park. And I'll zoom in here so you can see it. Any guesses to how to zoom in on this rascal?
Bottom right corner. Hit that plus sign. There you go.
So the Frankmans had this drawn up as a recommendation from the state when they're told that the Veterans Parkway is going to go through their land. As you see, there are storage sheds just to the north of the property that we're looking at. All we're looking at doing is taking the 180.8 feet and the 400 feet to make a rectangular parcel just south of that storage facility. The Frankmans own all of this 34 acres in one parcel currently. There's also a few other areas, but again, they chose not to offer that as of our availability because of what their future plans are eventually down the road. What's funny is the fact that the city of Sioux Falls has never once reached out to them about purchasing that land that is going to have to be purchased through what they have proposed through the city. And as of like a month ago, they had a meeting finally set up and reached out to because we've started this process. We're not here to try to cause a ruckus. We're here to try to start another journey and get your guys' blessing on this journey to create another great atmosphere in the city of Sioux Falls. This here is kind of the stepping system for the Veterans Parkway, which is a 26-27 build out from a construction standpoint. And let me zoom back out here. This is kind of what our proposal is for the land. We've been working with some builders as far as kind of creating a design or a layout. We came up with this design as kind of a rough idea of what would blend into the community. And all we're looking for, like I said, is a rezone of the land so we can attach to a liquor license. And if you guys are really wanting it from the city of Sioux Falls to be annexed in, you have our blessing. Whether we got to figure out paperwork or what that process would be, we've never had anybody lay out any type of roadmap for us on how we could do that. We were simply told it couldn't be done. And it's really hard to annex in land down the road if it hasn't been annexed in right now. So reading through kind of the Lincoln County staff reports, a few things kind of brought to my attention. So back in 2019, when those storage sheds and stuff were getting going, looking at staff reports, there was no qualms on forcing them to annex all 34 acres in, and there was nothing saying that they had to be annexed in. That storage shed is still currently Lincoln County, and as you see on this map, the city of Sioux Falls is directly on the north side of that. Like I said, the residential piece of it, there's an Ace Hardware going in on one of the yellow blurps just on 57th Street. So it's hard to believe that there can't be some wiggle room on those maps other than just the big blue blurp that was on there, and I was told that it's not falling into that blurp. Some other things just kind of going through here as far as the 2040 plan. I've never spent so much time reading out a 2040 plan and learning about the city of Sioux Falls, but it's worth learning. So again, the community must be prepared to deal with problems accompanying continued growth and change or lose the unique quality of life which the city now enjoys. You're right. The community must be prepared to deal with the problems. The problem being there's no licenses available. The business, and I don't know if any of you are business owners, but if you're looking to grow your business, you try to work and figure out a solution to the problem instead of just quitting on the project, right? None of us would get anywhere if we just said no and moved on with life. To facilitate an orderly, efficient, developed urban structure for the benefit of the citizens, the benefit of all city residents while maintaining service and quality of life. We've been operating for 10 years. Our residents and our citizens tell us that we're a good business, and we've done nothing but create community involvement things with our food truck events, our beanbag nights, and indoor winter golf. The liquor license piece of it is simply part of the pie. It's not our revenue driver. It's an add-on benefit to the indoor golf. Golf is our number one revenue piece. The food and beverage piece is another piece of it, and the video lottery piece is another piece of it. And when we want to look at copying our business plan over, it would be hard to say we would want to leave any of the things that we are doing currently that are working behind to start another adventure when it's going to be an expensive adventure to A, purchase land, B, build a building, and C, buy a $250,000 liquor license. I would love some of your guys' feedback, suggestions, thoughts, because I understand most of you guys are probably familiar with this because it's taken so long to get here.
Anybody got any questions for the applicant? Over there? Okay, I have one. Just so I'm clear on this, we're asking for a rezone of the whole 34 point something acres, no?
They want all 34 acres annexed into the city of Sioux Falls, not necessarily just
So-
rezoned. And
So we're asking to rezone 1 acre that isn't parceled off yet?
correct. And the
Is
reason,
that possible? It is?
and the reason it wasn't plotted, I'm a small business owner, right? Money is, you conservatively spend your money. It's hard to want to go and plot this thing out and then be told I couldn't get it rezoned to go through this process. So when it never got replotted, it was because I need to find out if it's even a viable direction that I can go with this business.
No, I understand. I
Yep.
just don't, I'm just trying to figure out if we're doing the process,
Yep.
if it's in the right order or not. We've never done one that I'm aware of where we've, well, maybe we have.
So do I understand you correctly that you are getting the liquor license from the county?
It would be a county liquor license, yes.
And
from
then what would happen when you annex into the city of Sioux Falls?
So how Jamie Palmer read that to us is the city of Sioux Falls would adopt that liquor license. In a year, from everything that's just recently happened with the liquor license in Sioux Falls, within a year, there's a potential of another one being released from the city golf courses. And then the next availability would be in a couple years when the new census is done, and that she's anticipating maybe 5 to 6 more that would become available. If the city of Sioux Falls were to adopt our license in at that time, the city of Sioux Falls would not be issued, say, 5 licenses, they'd be issued 4, and Lincoln County would be credited back their 1 due to losing it to the city of Sioux Falls from annexation. And from my understanding, Lincoln County would get the $240,000 that we would pay for the liquor license piece of it. Once annexation would happen, Sioux Falls would get our building permit and tax revenue from our business establishment. So to me, it's a win-win. And it gets another great facility going on the east side of Sioux Falls.
Commissioner Scott? So I guess I keep getting hung up on, and don't get me wrong, I love your facility, I love your business, I love small business. I keep hearing a lot of potential, words like could potentially move over to the city of Sioux Falls or.
Again,
Just the
if there
potential.
was some paperwork or whether it's an agreement I have to sign with Lincoln County and City of Sioux Falls that says this license and property will be annexed in, both John and I are ready to sign it right now today. It's just nothing has ever been presented to us, and all we're doing is continuing to ask questions and learn this process. It was never on our bucket list to go and learn the rezoning and all of the city ordinance around that
Yep.
process, I guess.
I understand.
The other thing I would say that's a little bit different than what the growth plan says, it mentions in here that around the development piece being a major development, we're not developers. This isn't a major development. This is 1.5 to 1 acres of property that is being offered for us to purchase. That's all we're looking to change from a development standpoint. What the Frankmans do with the rest of that 34 acres is out of my control. This is strictly just us having conversation and pitching the idea of us trying to get over to that area to start another facility.
Mr. Chair, do you currently have a purchase contract with Bryn Kevco on this, or, because my struggle is, you here as an applicant trying to get this rezoned commercial, you don't own the property if it is rezoned commercial and you haven't purchased it.
Yep.
Now, the Bryn Kevco,
Yep.
right, has the rights to that commercial property,
We do have a purchase agreement with them, yes.
contingent upon
Contingent
whatever
upon
this,
us
how this
being able to
process
get
works
this
out.
process rolling. Otherwise, the land really has no value to us, right? It wouldn't work for what we're looking to do for a facility. Yep.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Appreciate
time.
it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm going to open the floor up to anyone in favor of the application. Okay. Seeing none, we're going to close the floor to that and now open the floor to anybody in opposition of the application. And was there, Mr. Brown, was there an email? Nope, that's the other one. Sorry, we've already closed it now. Okay, so I'm gonna close the floor to public comment and entertain a motion from the county side for approval and discussion.
For the sake of conversation, I will make a motion to approve the application.
I'll make the second. Todd?
Okay. Do we want to vote, or do we move to the city side first? Discussion. Okay. Do you need to have a motion in a second?
Well,
Yeah.
we can, sorry.
Yeah, we can certainly do that now, or we can do that after the discussion, either way.
We'll just have discussion then. There we go.
But, yeah, discussion together, I think is the
Yeah.
the key here.
Okay. Very good. So, discussion.
I was wondering if we could have somebody from the city come up and just talk us through the annexation process. That's come up quite a bit, and I just want to make sure everybody understands what that is and how that works.
So Fletcher Lakehawk, urban planner, City of Sioux Falls. As noted in the description, this is a planned urbanized area. It's not, we have a tier growth system, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 says 5 to 10 years you can come into the city because services will be available. And then it's 10 to 15 and 15 to 25. This is actually developable today, use it with city services. So when we're looking at the land use portion of this, we're not taking into account the liquor licenses or video lottery licenses or any of that. We're saying this is a planned urbanized area. There's city, streets, utilities, water, sewer available, and that the process in order to do this, where we're good to go in the city, is to annex into the city and develop in the city. And to say that there aren't licenses available in the city, there are. It's just on the private market. So the annexation process, we would work with the applicant or the property owner to submit a concept plan and go through the annexation process. And then it would be a platting process in order to get the infrastructure in place and extended and roads built and a great new development happening. So we're in support of what the applicant is proposing to do in this location. It's just the process should be to annex into the city and go through the platting process.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is this one, with the replot of this 1 acre, is it able to be annexed into the city as it sits? Is things contiguous there or no?
The proposed location is not contiguous, but the 34 acres parcel that it comes out of is contiguous to the city. And as I noted, it's a developable area. So it probably, as you noted, there's discussions with the property owner about getting that right of way for Veterans Parkway. And that's really going to start spurring that development in that area.
So if it was just the 1 acre parcel though, since it's not contiguous to the city, would that make it, would you have to get, I guess, the land in between annexed as well? I mean, obviously, that'd be the easiest way
That
to
would
do
be
it.
the recommendation, is that the property owner work with the city to go through the process. And we've given them the information they need, the platting fees and what they would need in order to move forward. And I believe they're in discussions with the city's Public Works Department about purchasing the right-of-way for Veterans Parkway and moving forward with that, so.
Fletcher, just for the sake of confirmation, can you confirm that the city has no issues with having ongoing discussions with this property owner about moving forward with annexation?
No, there's no issues with that. We actually really support the development in this area because there are those urban services available. And, whereas other applications we see in the joint jurisdiction area, it's a tier 1 or a tier 2 or a tier 3, and we're going, hey, that needs to be developed, but it needs to be developed 10 to 15 years from now or 15 to 20. This is actually perfect for development today. It's just should be in the city.
Thank
And that
you.
would really help with ensuring that city services are being used and there's not further strain on county services, so.
And Fletcher, on the Veterans Parkway, I mean, that's third phase, correct? So we're right now working on, was it Minnesota Western, and then we'll go western to the interstate, and then this will be later. So the actual development of this would be potentially 3 or 4 years down the road.
Yeah, it is in the 5-year CIP, so it will get constructed in the next 5 years, so.
I have a question if you don't mind. So you're saying.
Hold on, just a second here. We've got to close the floor to comments, so, yeah, I know sometimes it's hard and you want to jump back in, but we're in discussion right now, so thank you. Okay, thanks, Fletcher. All right. More discussion? What are the thoughts from the city?
Mr. Chair, this proposed rezone is very reminiscent of one in the joint jurisdiction with Minnehaha County last month. Not for the same purpose by any stretch, but by proxy of the fact that the land use was going from ag to commercial, not tied in immediately to city services, but, we want to do it. Well, we'd sign anything you'd want us to sign, but we were also advised those type of, quid pro quo, it's not legal. You can't do that. So you have to rezone it. It stands commercial, and the same with this process. These folks decide, there's this other thing, and we're going to go there instead. It's not plotted, it's not purchased, it's now zoned commercial, and it can go any which way but loose, and the use may not be appropriate for septic and well-type services. So it's the ultimate unfortunate chicken and the egg. So I see a lot of benefits to what they're looking to do, and their plan seems sound. It certainly makes sense for the areas growing, and having this type of a facility and offering in this area makes a lot of sense. It's just unfortunate that with the chicken and the egg, I'm kind of right on the line with this one. I can go either way at the moment. I'm just interested to hear what others have to say as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, yeah, I 100% agree. It's a great business plan, it's a good venue and all that sort of stuff. I just do feel this area is not ready for that yet, as the city has to extend out to them, not them go there and then the city build around them or adapt later. Yeah, city services and all those roads, all that going through is just, that needs to happen first before this goes. Again, I support small business, 100% for all this. It's just, right now, there's too many questions that could possibly happen if we would approve this right now.
I have the opportunity, I will hear this again, I'm sure. My first and foremost, it's a spot consideration. We've tried hard to get away from spot zoning. It only has cost us headache. It doesn't yield the better planning that we need to do. So for that simple reason, I'm not supporting this at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, it's a little more unique, but it's not like a lot of things that we've heard on the county side. for sure in the last year. And we've worked real hard to try to handle things a little bit differently. And I guess it's of my feeling, and I think a lot of our board anyway, that we see the benefits of working from the municipalities out versus going in. And this one we could argue either way, probably for a long time. And I understand your guys' position, but I truly feel, especially when the city's requesting it, I feel like it should be annexed first, and let's work from the city out to it and get it done right versus doing it the other way. I mean, we've just got too many of those things in Lincoln County that are going to be headaches for the city going forward, and we've done that at the county level, and I just don't think we need to. I don't think we need to do that anymore. So, any more discussion? Anybody got anything else? Okay, so we've got, and I apologize, this is only the second time I've been with the whole group, so I'm still trying to get the process down here. So we've got a motion and a second from the county side. Do we take roll on that first and then pass it to the city? Okay, so we'll take roll. Commissioner Green? The motion was made for approval.
No.
Commissioner Boots?
No.
Commissioner Jungling?
No.
Commissioner Sweeter?
No.
Commissioner Poppins?
No.
Commissioner Scott is also a no. City Chair Kiddums?
All right, on the city side, I'm looking for a motion to approve and a second, so we can move into if there's anything, other discussion we need before we vote.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve for discussion purposes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second for approval. Do we have any further discussion on our side that we'd like to make comments on?
Madam Chair, I'll just quickly say it's by no means a reflection on the business owners themselves. It, from our perspective, has nothing to do with the liquor licensing as well. It's good to hear from the city that this area is ready to go, but at the end of the day, we've got processes and procedures that need to be followed, and we've set a bit of a precedent, this group has, by following those in the past and denying applications that have come before us and really needed to follow the annexation process first. And like Commissioner Johnson said, we just did that last month up in Minnehaha County. So for those reasons, I'll be voting no.
All right, any other discussion? All right, with that, I will call for a vote. All those in favor, please say yes. All those opposed, please say no.
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 The motion fails.
Thanks.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Good luck. Okay, Mr. Brown, agenda item number 2.
I gotta reset here, give me 1 second. Okay, thank you. This next item is an application for a conditional use permit. The applicant and property owner is Jeff Hasselbrook. This is essentially an amendment to a conditional use permit that was approved by this joint board back in 2022. Essentially, the property is within an established subdivision. This is just to the west of the Spring Creek Golf Course. Just to the bottom of essentially where, or 106 would be the closest route or road within that area. Subject property is zoned A1 agricultural. Subject property is developed with a single-family dwelling on the property. The most appropriate shot would be the one looking north. That would be essentially where the structure would be constructed. The applicant, like I mentioned previously, was approved for a conditional use permit in 2022. He's at the phase where he's going to construct the structure on the property. Found out through that process that by adding a little bit more square footage to the property, or to the project, approximately 384 square feet, that it wouldn't cost much more in his total bid. So he has requested that an amendment to his existing approved conditional use permit to increase the size of the structure by 384 square feet. As you can see, the structure would meet all required setbacks on the property. The requirement is, again, for a standard is that any accessory structure over 1,200 square feet in the joint jurisdictional area does require a conditional use permit, but beyond that, there is no standards as far as size comparison to what the dwelling is at that effect. Staff did post the property. There was letters sent to adjacent properties within 500 feet. And so we did receive some correspondence that I did place on, I believe, most of your, in front of you this evening. I won't read that, but essentially it'll just be part of what the public correspondence was associated with it. So staff did review this application. Staff did determine that this application is in conformance with the standards, policies previous with the county and the joint or the city. And so staff does recommend approval of this. We do recommend with that approval that essentially we remain intact the original conditional use permit with the conditions that were placed on it. But we would essentially amend the first condition and reference void the previous site plan and approve the new site plan that was dated June 23rd, 2023, which is what I previously showed you. So with that, again, staff does recommend approval with amendment to condition number 1. With that, if you have any questions for staff, I'll gladly answer them at this time.
Mr. Brown, on the email that you printed off and gave to us, this particular person seems to be concerned that it's not going to be some kind of shop and engines and things like this. Is there reason to believe that?
Not
That's
that
the-
I'm aware of,
Okay,
correct,
I mean,
yeah.
there isn't something already going on there that they would be concerned about.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
But I would reference, that's why staff's recommending that the existing conditions in that previous permit be held. And again, those are standard conditions that we place on any accessory type building. And again, the primary use of this can only be for personal storage.
Yeah.
So no business could be run out of that structure, so.
but you don't have suspicion that there's a business being run there now without the proper permit?
No.
Okay.
Question.
Yep.
Toby, would this amendment change the expiration date of the original CUP then?
Well, the original CUP has a 2-year expiration date, so he'll be within that, so.
But it doesn't extend the,
No,
That
does
too.
not extend it, no.
thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Can I ask the applicant to come up? State your name, address, and explain a little bit about what you're asking here.
Jeff Hasselbrook, 27084 Mariah Place, Harrisburg. Yeah, Toby pretty much covered everything way better than I'll be able to, but just looking to make it a little bit bigger than what I was originally planning on. Ended up being quite a bit more cost effective to do it that size. The contractor said I'd picked an oddball size when I originally came down here, so.
Okay. Can you state your address for
Yep.
the,
27084 Mariah Place,
Okay.
Harrisburg.
thank you. All right, any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
so all the conditions that were on the previous and are staying with this one,
Same,
you're
yep.
fine with them?
Yep.
Very good.
All right, good, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Ask anybody else that's in favor of the application to step forward. Okay, see none. We'll ask anybody that's in opposition to the application, please step forward. See none. Close forward for public comment, and we'll have discussion.
Mr. Chairman, to get the ball rolling on this one, I'll offer a motion to approve the amendment.
Okay.
With
Second,
all the
Green.
conditions still existing.
Okay.
I'll second Green.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second on the county side. Do we want to have any discussion?
On my end, he has a land space. There's other sheds there that large, and frankly, I'm jealous because I want a shed too, so.
Hold that against him, is that what you're saying?
I'll be voting to approve this.
Okay. Any discussion? You guys are set? Good? Okay, we'll call the roll. We'll flip it around so Mr. Green doesn't have to go first. Commissioner Poppins?
Yes.
Commissioner Sweeter?
Yes.
Commissioner Jungling?
Yes.
Commissioner Boots?
Yes.
Commissioner Green?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott's also a yes. City Chair?
All right, on the city side, do I have a motion for approval with the conditions as they are listed?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions as listed. Johnson.
Okay.
Second?
Right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? All right, hearing no further discussion, I will call for a vote. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 All those opposed, please say no. All right, motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. Okay, with being no business or further items, is there a motion from the county side to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn. Todd?
Okay.
Second, Jungling.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, city.
All right, on the city side, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Right, in a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning, please say yes.
Yes.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.